Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ZLBpodcast. This is episode 10. I know what you're thinking. Why weren't we cancelled last week? Turns out no one listened to the last 5 minutes of that podcast. Thank God. Don't go back and listen to it. And welcome. Clean, fresh start. Very clean, family-friendly podcast this week. And the person we have to blame for last week is joining us again. Hello, Frog.
G'day, kids. What's going on?
Don't address the kids by them. Let's not pretend kids are listening. And also joining us is Chauncey.
Hey guys, how are you today?
And newcomer, we replaced Jelly with a better version. Boydo.
Hello?
Almost. You almost got that. Hello? You got
Damn it.
But it's an interesting week. Particularly for myself, I haven't worked all week, so I'm sort of all over the place. But we definitely have some stories, and I think
you're not feeling the effects of Aphrodisiac Friday.
No,
so.
It's been Aphrodisiac week, all week.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
All week. You know what though? What's the opposite to an aphrodisiac? It's like a cold shower.
Margaret Thatcher.
So when I go back to work, that's going to be Margaret Thatcher Day.
I mean,
it's
fair.
It's fair.
It's relevant. Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but all I've done for the last week is played a lot of Mass Effect. Fuck me, does that bring back great memories of just such a fantastic fucking game.
Oh.
And and not only am I playing it, when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. It's that kind of game. And I'm like,
it's been like that for me all week. It's like I've been all week at work. I've just been grinding work, thinking about I want to get through these missions tonight. I want to do some side missions to start off with.
I want to sleep with the blue lady.
And then it's it's just been a throwback to being a child. Mass Effect was one of the games that it was one of the only games I owned.
Did you play it on Xbox?
Nah, I had it on.
You had it on
I had it on PC. I had it on Windows.
Because I was a PlayStation kid, and I had a PlayStation before I got a decent computer. And when Mass Effect 3 came out, that's when my mate was going insane about it. It's you have to play it, I'm I've never played it before. Mass Effect 1 was never out on the PS3. It came out much later as a triple pack. So I only played 2 and 3 properly. And
that's all you need. That's all you need, really.
Well, when you start up 2, it's hey, do you want to hear about number 1? And it's literally a choose your own adventure thing. So you choose all the decisions from number 1, and then you just kick on. But I just remember playing that game hours every single night and just loving it, just talking to people, just flying around and fucking just probing planets, doing all that shit.
Classic Origin, I'm pretty sure, had it as a DLC. And so when you had it on PC, you had to get, it's called the Genesis DLC.
Yeah.
And you had to I think you had to buy it. I'm not sure if it was free or you had to buy it, but I remember getting
a lot
that.
Of DLCs. I think for the third game, I brought a lot of DLCs.
I bought all of the first number 2 DLCs. I never owned 1. I only played it at my mate's place, and I never owned 3. I only played that at my mate's place, but I played the shit out of number 2.
All I'll say is that game, and I've been listening to other people talk about it on their podcasts, and then they're talking about how big it got every single time they brought that out. And I was talking about how when number 3 came out, they had this whole promotion where they tied the game to a rocket and set it into the lower atmosphere so it could actually go into space. And it was all GPS tracked. And then wherever it landed, whoever found it got to keep it. And it was a whole publicity stunt. And I'm just that's nuts. But then when you jump, I recently finished 2 and I'm into 3 now. And the first thing you notice is they've spent the money to make everything much more grand. The controls are tighter, the shooting's tighter. There's a lot more stuff they've added to it. It's just fuck man, it's such a good game. And then I was reading, because one of the shocks is you get into number 3. It's you want to import your character? I'm yeah, I'll import my character. And it goes, okay, well, you did all these things. And I'm okay, yep. So I didn't help that guy. I didn't help this guy. And then it goes, you failed to romance anyone. I'm wait a second. I romanced people because, we banged. And then it's me and Jack, we hooked up. And then I'm no.
I was there.
Yeah,
I
right?
was there.
So anyway, I found out, and then it came up as a suggested article. It's characters you can romance in the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm oh, this is interesting. It has every single character, and then it's this is the steps you got to do. These are your deal breakers and whatever else. And for Jack, if you fuck her the first time you can, it's a deal breaker. She'll never talk to you again properly.
Oh my God.
Oops. I screwed myself.
You done fucked up. I've been kind of like trying to achievement hunt, which I've spoken ill against.
It's
achievement
got
hunting
good
on
trophies. Like there's no bullshit trophies in there.
And I've been trying to get like a lot of the different things, and one of them is to maintain. Sorry if you could just hear that. That was someone was revving down the fucking road. From number 1 all the way through to number 3, maintaining a romance. And apparently,
really?
Yeah, maintaining any romance. So you can either romance someone, like say for instance, Liara. You could go from 1 all the way through to 3, and that's like maintaining that same romantic. Except you can't do it properly in number 2. I don't think.
You can. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but she plays a side character role.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not one of the main guys,
not,
but that doesn't count properly. But it does. Yeah. Oh, does it?
Hmm?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, she's a main story.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like I said, I'm up to 3, and it's not really a spoiler because I've gone down a dark path with my game, right? So I'm playing the worst possible option to each game, which is heartbreaking but also interesting at the same time. But so Ashley, who you can save in the first game, or she could die depending on how things play out, and then I think you talk to her briefly in the second game, and then the third game she can be part of the main crew, or if you play your cards horrible, you can execute her. So
oh my god,
I executed her.
Oh my god! See, the thing
I
was
executed a lot of people actually.
I kind of did a little bit of research into like who you can romance and stuff, just so that I could do that achievement, right? And Ashley is one of them.
Yeah.
But Ashley is one of the only ones where if you romance her in number 2, you can't romance her in number 1. You can't romance her in number 2 at all.
Yep.
But if you romance anyone else, you get viewed as a cheater in number 3, and you can't romance anyone. And it's like, what? The game, it's just like, that's such a massive leap.
I love this game so much.
It's like 10 years or some shit between them. How much, what's the time frame between number 1 and number 3? Because so 5 or 6 years.
Slight spoilers for anyone who has no fucking idea what's going on, but you're dead for 2 years between 1 and 2.
Oh, I'm not meaning like it just in
by the
actual
time from 1 to 3, it's like only 3 years.
I'm not talking about the actual time. I was more meaning like production, like the
it's
going through.
It's nearly what last game? I think it's like 2007 was the first game. I think the last game's 2012ish. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Either way, you shouldn't be viewed as cheating because you were actually dead for a lot of that time.
You're physically dead.
You're physically dead. I think once you die, it kind of breaks off the relationship. Maybe you can see other people.
Oh my god.
Was she waiting for some? Was she waiting for us to resurrect? No, probably not. So it's kind of harsh.
She probably moved on. She's fucking banging everyone left, right, center. Just fucking lying there dead.
I fucking love that game so much, and I love the characters so much. It's breaking my heart that like I said, everything's more grand and more big scale in number 3. So when I had to execute Morden because I was betraying my team. No. The whole thing, the whole cinematic and the music and everything was killing me. Oh, man. But Chats wants blood. Chat's like Renegade. You got to do it. Renegade.
You have to commit to it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you can't like half your choices and like come out on top. You got to like
literally
fully commit.
I don't want to say what I was doing, but I was turning on my entire team. It is a secret mission that I did for me that I don't tell any other of my team members. It's going to have long-standing consequences. It's against everything. And not only that, the game makes it so bad that like you know that you're going on this top secret mission against your team. And throughout the whole lead up to it, probably 4 or 5 times it'll stop and someone will be like, "Are you okay, Shepard? Do you want to talk about it?" And then it gives you an option to tell them or not to tell them. It just keeps going over and over again. It's like, "Do you want to tell them about it?" I'm like, "No, we can't. I'm a renegade. I can't do this." It's such a fucking good game. I'm enjoying myself so much playing that game.
See, the decision you make in Mass Effect, right, compared to other like story-based games, the one thing I don't like is that how you can't come out on top unless you fucking pick soul. Like, there's some times where I want
to pick one or the other person. Like the game is perfectly designed to the sense where it goes, hey, you get to make these decisions. Not all decisions are going to be easy.
Yeah,
And
but it's like I like games like the Telltale ones. Like I keep coming back to them where there is decisions that you can make which are like you can make really like wholesome decisions, and then you can also make decisions where he's like, oh, that's a bandit, I'm just going to shoot him in the face, fuck him, and it changes it in a way that it will win. Like Telltale, you'll never like Walking Dead, you'll never win. You never win, but you never lose, right?
Yeah. You always end up in the same or similar sort of situation. Just maybe the other people were there. Where Mass Effect, like even now, I think 3 in particular, they obviously knew what was going on, like how it's been received. Because in 3, they referenced decisions I made in 1. And not only just like, not even small ones, like not even the big ones, like small ones. Like, hey, this guy's here because he was a small side mission where I saved him. And then I made the decision that he was going to come with me and we're going to drop him off here. And then later in Mass Effect 3, when you go to that spot, he's there. It's like, it's big brain shit. And I just wish there was more games for it. And the thing is, you wish there's more games for it, and then you remember Andromeda was a thing that came out. And if anyone remembers how Andromeda came out, it wasn't finished in any way, shape, or form.
It wasn't like really shit.
As in,
we just don't talk about it.
Well, we're a podcast, so we have to talk about it.
We just go quiet.
If you look up Mass Effect launch, you just go, oh my god, what the fuck happened? It was buggy. People like would walk backwards downstairs. Facial animations made them look like a glitched, like they glitched and hit a wall and melted their face. Like everything was wrong with the game. Like everything was wrong. It's like they had zero playtesting happen on that game, and it was absolute garbage. I tried to play it. I kind of was trying to get into it, but I just couldn't. Without the characters and the crew and stuff and the people that you're attached to, I couldn't see past the bugs. It's like playing fucking Cyberpunk. Like you go through Cyberpunk because the story's solid. Keanu's a fucking boss. You know, you can push through it. But
I'm still yet to complete Cyberpunk.
You should play it on console. It's more stable.
Yeah, play on the PS4. Yeah, play on the original PS4. You'll have a great experience.
You can't even buy it on the PlayStation 4 still.
Oh,
it's still banned from their PlayStation shop.
I tried doing a playthrough on the stream, right?
Yeah, I was there.
And it just got to the point where I was just like, this is like, I'm not even having fun. Like, this is just like, I feel like the story's good, but when I'm trying to level up by doing side missions and they're just so repetitive and boring, and it's just you go here, shoot these people.
I watched you stream that twice, and both times you're up to the fight with the twins. Both times you're like, I'm starting again. What? When you go and you fight the two guys who share the same.
Every time you come in to see me stream that, it's just really... that was like with like a 4-month gap in between too. That's like... and I always make the same decision with the twins. It's like, so which one are you? Which one takes the misses in bed? Then what the question is.
Either way, Cyberpunk's launch smooth compared to the BioShock Andromeda. Not a BioShock, fucking Mass Effect Andromeda. Because
I don't
well, not only that, Andromeda came out with a roadmap, and actually no, Cyberpunk did too. I was going to say, but because Andromeda scrapped their roadmap and just abandoned the game, so. They left massive plot holes based on DLC that was coming that never came. So
the one thing I did read when I was looking up the romances was that again Liara is in Andromeda from what I saw, or like she's like a side character in it.
She's like a side character, and then you get a younger whatever race. I forget what her race is. Sorry, join, and then she's like you can romance her immediately. It's like they knew what people wanted. I don't know how else to say it. There's definitely some game decisions that you're like, oh, I see. Fan service. I understand.
Yeah. But it's like, apparently, I don't know how far you got into Andromeda, and this won't be too much of a spoiler, but like, if you proceeded, like, because did the game files like cross over at all?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then it must take the stance of, yo, this character definitely romanced Liara.
Yeah,
and like it's like they
definitely, this guy... and I know that because I'm in that point now where I haven't romanced her, but they have this like real chemistry, like. They could have been sleeping together. You couldn't tell the difference. And they might just assume that you're either extremely close and just insinuate that, you know, you're banged. So I
It's like
I
they
might
carry
play
it
through
through.
Andromeda. I might give it another chance, only because I'm fucking in love with this game so much. Again,
But yeah, she like like she searches and like looks for him the whole time. It's insane. Like they carry the story all the way through to the fourth game, which is like completely separate, and there's like little hints
Yeah.
at the fucking game, which is kind of cool. But yeah,
I fucking that, and that's the thing that sold me on Mass Effect always was decisions that you make carry on throughout the games and stuff like that. And I love those games. That's why, what was it, the Outer Worlds that I played through recently? Like that's why I love that game, is because you can make all these decisions and they alter things. But even those games are nothing compared to Mass Effect. And I like Telltale. I played all the Telltale games, or most of them. The only one I haven't played is the Walking Dead ones, because
dude, you need to play them. They are my favorite.
I always
Telltale game.
I always get through halfway through the first game and then kind of just go, it's not really doing it for me. And I don't know if it's
Dude,
because I
it
spent
gets
so much time
much better
reading the manga and then reading the watching the show, and then just to play through the same story again is kind of like,
yeah.
how much is too much? But
The one that I played through. Oh no, it didn't. Never mind. I was thinking I'm trying to think of other games that have that sort of same feature.
The next, it's like next thing on my radar is I want to do Skyrim and I want to do Fallout New Vegas, which I've played both of them before. I finished New Vegas, and like the New Vegas had the bug where the more you play it, the more you save it, the bigger the save file. The bigger the save file, the harder it is to run the game. By the time I got up to the end of New Vegas, I was running at like 3 frames a second. And I'm like, I just need to finish it. And I don't know, like, I don't know the details. It's been so long, but I remember that you talk to some guy and he gives you the choice. It's like, you got to side with these people or these people. And I'll be like, and I remember I was just lagging so much. I'm like, I side with no one, bitch. And just shot him in the face and roll credits. That was the easiest solution to get me to the credits.
God.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to go back and play. I like those kind of games, but
I'm just scrolling through my Steam library trying to find
other games that like choose your own adventure.
Yeah, because
there's not that many when you think about it that actually have consequences.
A little bit of a spoiler here, but something I only recently found. See, this is the thing. Is like with the Walking Dead games, there's like little things that I didn't know, and then I find out like years later that makes me want to play it.
Yeah.
So in the first game, right? There was the only game that they had DLC for, right? I'm pretty sure it's the only game they had DLC for. But there was like a DLC called 100 Days where it was based on, it was like 5 short stories.
Yep.
And in one of the short stories, I don't know how far into the game you got, Aladi, so, and for anyone listening, this will be a spoiler, but there's basically a character, like one of those decisions where it's everyone's turning on everyone, and the chick that's going slightly crazy shoots someone, like depending on which character you chose to save in a previous chapter, shoots that person in the head, right? And they shoot that person in the head, and then bam, the group decides we're just gonna leave this fucking chick on the side of the road, right? Everyone you can either choose to bring her along with you and she runs off, or like what I do every time, which is fuck you, you just shot someone that's actually sick. You're staying here, and then you just drive off, right? In one of the 100 Days one, there's like little Easter eggs that like relate to like the story. Like you find like hints of the main characters like throughout the game, and there's like a little Easter egg where the you choose to like the character. There's a car coming along the road, and you get the choice of either jumping in the bushes and hiding, or just like walking, continuing.
Yeah.
Right. And so you jump in the bushes and you land on the body of the chick that like shot someone. It's like so like niche little like Easter egg things, but it's like games like that. Where
that's what Mass Effect does so much, and like it makes me wonder. Like, it's like, for example, I got up to a point where I'm like, you come up to these people and they're like, fuck you, we don't trust you. And then one of the guys there is like, hey, no, you helped me in the first game. He's like, you guys are good, we'll help you out. You know, unlock this door, let you through. I'm like, I wonder what the fuck happens if I don't help this guy. Like, would I have to kill these people and then try and force my... What happens? Like, I want to know. And you know what the other game is? It's fucking, like, what are they, bloody Beyond Two Souls and... what are those games? Help me out, Chauncey. You know, the PlayStation.
What games, sorry?
Beyond Two Souls, and there was one that was recently with the androids on PlayStation.
Oh, Detroit.
Become Human. Those ones, they've all, but the best thing about those are at the end of it goes, these are all your decisions, and this is the rest of the tree. And you go, oh my god, there's so many other things I could have done, and it actually explains it. And you can actually jump back to different categories and make your changes again. So that's another one. So if you yeah, dude, Life is Strange is another one for sure. With Telltale, and this is it's not a spoiler. It's more of a now that you know, you can make this choice. But Tales from the Borderlands, which is one of the best fucking Borderlands IP games ever, which is a Telltale games that was totally underrated, or I think it's highly rated, but no one gives it a fucking chance. Great fucking game, go play it. Right? In the opening sequence, you're chasing some dude, and there's a chance it gives you a quick time event to try and take a shot and shoot this guy. If you don't take the shot, it means later at the end of that episode, you won't run out of ammo and you can take a shot again, and it might actually be meaningful. But most people just go, oh, quick time event, and quickly mash it to hit the shot, and then later on, you're always one bullet short. It's fucking wild. It's in the amount of time, I've gone, it's when it came later, I'm like, fuck, I want to go back and find out what happens if I actually shoot this guy, because I can. It's just fucking great game design. And it's Telltale's out of business, and I forget who the company is now who's got the licensing and shit to run their titles, but we're still getting a Wolf Among Us 2, so that's good.
I've still yet to play that, but that's on my list of things to play.
It's so good. I played most of them because I was like, easy platinums. All you have to do is finish the game and you get a platinum. But I think Wolf Among Us, there's two. Wolf Among Us and the Minecraft one, they're the only two Telltale games I had to play twice. Well, don't even have to play twice, but you have to go back and make a decision. There's a pivotal point where you goes left or right, and you need to do both to get both trophies and therefore get the platinum. So there's one in Wolf Among Us where you're like, oh, I'm going to just do this, and you think it's all cool, and then you go back and look, it's like, actually what you did was one way, but there's actually another way that's quite significant. Cool. But yeah, there's fucking... Man, I love those sort of games. I'm going to play more of those games after I finish playing Mass Effect, which is probably never. But
well, there was a bit of those... it was a bit of decision-making and story from Metro Exodus when I was playing that before it bugged out and fucking wouldn't let me progress.
Is your computer okay? Because...
just... I'm not going to talk about that. That was a graphical glitch, right? We fixed that, but then there was multiple other glitches and bugs that stopped me from actually progressing. It was a mob that would spawn but wouldn't be killable, and it would just block a doorway or some shit, and I couldn't physically get through. And so I think I just threw my fucking mouse at a wall and then just left. But anyway, there's there's so many different random people you would shoot at the start of the game. Or shoot at, not even kill, but then they would pop up towards the middle, and it was just good open world game design. But
I remember the first time I played Fallout 3. I was walking along, and this guy started shooting me. I'm like, hey, what you shoot me for? And then shot him, and then for the next 5 minutes, I watched all my open missions say they can no longer be completed. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And it just turned out that I'd shot some guy, stole his uniform, and it turned out that it's the uniform of this guy's enemy. And this guy is a pivotal guy for the story, but he didn't like my uniform, so he started shooting me, so I killed him. And then I just missed a third of the game. That was pretty much my introduction to Fallout 3. I didn't know much about that one when I just sort of jumped in balls deep for that one. It's a solid game as well. Yeah. So I was pretty much for the last week, I'm halfway through my holidays. I've spent a lot of time fixing some ZLB stuff and getting some stuff done, fixing the background and whatever else. Also raising money for charity still. So smashing through that. I have to play through Ocarina of Time again, which is so painful. I can't, also have to play.
Was that one of your goals?
Yeah, to go play through OG Zelda. That was at $650, which I've smashed through.
Dude, you're smashing that.
At $600, I have to play Final Fantasy 14.
Have fun with that.
It
is so fun.
I was watching some people stream it today, and I'm like, hey guys, just roughly, how long do you reckon it takes to get into the guts of? And I think one of them's like, I've been playing about 100 hours, and I'm not sure I'm into it yet. I'm like, cool.
Amateur numbers. Those are amateur numbers.
Let's sidetrack for a second here, Bordo, because I'm curious. How many hours are non-amateur hours?
Once you pass 1,000, that'll be probably at the start of Stormblood or halfway through.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, wow. It's what the.
On my account, I have 2,640 hours.
That's
My
insane.
Okay. Give me a second. Just give me a quick.
Jelly
second.
has more. Jelly has more.
Okay. Can we all just? What's everyone's most played game? Do you reckon?
Factorial.
What's your hours on Factorio, Voido?
On my client, I logged over 4,000. On Steam, I clocked
What's-
1,400.
What's the longest game you've played in Factorio?
My longest game would have been my 1,000-hour game that I just stopped. I launched
now I
about
feel-
980 rockets.
I feel sad about myself then.
Mine's a bit
Go on.
stereotypical. I have 4,000 hours on Siege on Steam, right?
Right.
But then I also have, because of the fact I mainly play on Smurf accounts when I'm playing with certain people, and like accounts that like I have 4 accounts for Siege.
Just tell us
right?
what the number is, all right? What's the number?
I
In total?
did the math.
What do you
See,
reckon?
This is like at the start of the year when I was still playing the game. I did the maths back then, and I think I had clocked over 12,000 hours on Siege
What the fuck?
across 4 accounts. Yeah.
And I thought I had a problem.
Yeah. Each of my accounts is like really fucking high leveled.
So I reckon I've done a lot of hours in GTA for obvious reasons, for all the RP and
Wait,
everything, which is we discussed.
wait, you play GTA?
Yeah, well, for those who
What's
did
that
listen
again?
to the episode, but like apart from that, like it used to be Call of Duty, and then it sort of flipped to Destiny, and now I play so many different games. It's whatever. So
Now you're a Persona streamer.
well,
Yeah.
Persona's probably one of my highest streamed games at the moment because I streamed it for 100 hours exactly.
Highest streamed, lowest views.
There's a website called, and I wish they had one for Rainbow Six because you'd fucking be great. But there's a website called wastedondestiny.com, and it actually just you chuck in your name, it tells you how much time you wasted playing Destiny. And even that for me is like 3,000 or 4,000 hours, which isn't that much. It's rookie numbers by the sounds of it. But I remember, like, I'm going to be a boomer for a second, so give me one second to be a boomer. But Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64 had proper stats tracking, and I still have my character from that, and even that one is only, I think that's like 800 or 900 hours in Perfect Dark multiplayer, which is local multiplayer against bots. It's not even online, so that's pretty decent. But yeah, it's hard to, what's the best way to put this? It's hard to justify the fact that let's take a step back. All right, how much does Rainbow Six cost you to play? Like, what if I go, hey, I want to play Rainbow Six now. I'm just going to buy the game, or I could buy stupid skins or fucking little things that you tie in your gun, jerk off about. Right, just the game.
They're the best parts, bro. So why else did you buy the game?
It's all going to be relevant, all right. So
it currently costs $11 to $11.98.
do you get all the operators or the?
No, it's the least. It's the fucking. Oh, it's actually on sale right now. You know, if you're interested, anyone interested right now,
I play on PlayStation.
It's on sale because of the fact that the invite's on. Anyway, until the invite ends, it is currently $12.
All right, so for $12, you can play this game for how many hours?
12,000.
12,000. So you get 1,000 hours a dollar.
Yeah.
Right? In the economy of games, that's pretty good, right? And it's the same thing with like Final Fantasy 14. As much as we don't like to encourage it. The amount of hours of content versus how much it costs to play is pretty not bad. I'd say, like, if I go back to say Destiny, the amount of money you've got to spend on Destiny to get all the content is the most confusing bullshit that I've ever seen. And as much as I fucking love that game and everything about it, the thing I hate is how non-linear, non-structured it is. It's like, hey, you could do these 3 icons on the map, but these 4 you can't do without buying the DLC that came out 3 times ago and get the battle pass and unlock it to level 4 and then get the next battle pass that comes there. It comes to a total of $277, but it doesn't get you everything. You need to buy the old Legacy Edition if you want this as well. And by the way, you can't actually do the original game anymore because we deleted some of the levels. It's like, okay, so how do I play? It's like, you don't.
You just don't.
It's so confusing. But I suppose to my point, like I said, I play a lot of different games now, but that also means that every time I change a game, I'm spending anywhere from $30 to $60, if not more, for like a new AAA game to play it, and I might get Persona 100 hours out of it, or I could just go fucking give up on life and play Final Fantasy 14 forever, and then I would save all this money.
Or invest $12 and play 12,000 hours of Siege with me, and we can make a pro team.
Mate, I play Siege, but everyone's too sweaty. And when you're a smart ass and there's team killing, I just end up dead a lot. It's true.
It could be worse than my Battlefield experiences with Battlefield 3. I have about 20,000 hours on Battlefield 3 between my 3 accounts.
Yeah, but the thing is that how much do you pay for that game? Like, you can pick up Battlefield on launch day for like $70 or something, right?
On launch day, back when the dollars was somewhat decent, I paid $60 for Battlefield 3 Limited Edition, and that was back in 2011. And on my main account on Origin, I spent about 9,000 hours on that. On my second account, I spent 6,000 hours on that.
Yeah, it's insane.
And on the other account, I spent 5,000.
So then let's go to the polar opposite, all right? Godfall, launch title for the PlayStation 5. So you're already going to invest into a PlayStation 5. And so, so we're rolling out all the other games. So you need a PlayStation 5 to play this game, right? I think it was out on PC as well, but we're disregarding that. So you buy yourself a PlayStation 5 and you buy this game, which was retailing for, on special, mind you, like $115, right? So it's $115, 15 hours to finish, 15 hours. So and then not only that, it's not a great game. Like people who brought it, like, it's not that good. We should probably just take it back. And then so it's like, I guess this is the whole argument on the games as a service versus buying a game that's got a start and a finish and end and all done sort of thing. So, but you know, and like if we go back to Mass Effect, it's 3 games averaging 20 to 50 hours depending on how you play per game. It's easily over 100 hours of content for $60-$70. Oh, good. And then I'm gonna at some people here, and then there's the people who enjoy buying weird skins and stuff that aren't actually additive to the game. Unless someone wants to correct me.
I'm not in that group, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Imagine buying like a gun skin that makes your gun look like almost like a default gun.
I mean that's not me, but
yeah, it's not me either.
Yeah.
Who would do something like gun skins in video games shouldn't exist. If you buy a gun that looks worse than a default, why, you know?
My favorite thing in Siege is the alpha pack system, where it actually gets people can get really good skins, but there's no way to, like, there is ways to buy skins, right?
Right.
But there is no way to get the ones that are revered as like the best in the game, right? Like, you have to get packs, and in order to get packs, you need to
spend
play
dollars?
the game. No, you can't spend dollars on them.
Oh.
Right? See, this is where it gets good, because like some of the best ones, like legendary skins. There's the community favorite, which is the Black Ice skin for like all the 10 attacker defaults, 10 attacker defender defaults, 10, 20. Fuck, however many before the DLC operators started getting added in. They had. The first DLC operator was the Canadians, where they came out with this gun skin called Black Ice, and since then they've hidden it inside the alpha pack. So you used to be able to buy it for like the Canadian operators, and that was it. But then they added it for all the default guns, and it is some of the coolest skins in a game, and it's like a community favorite. So it's always just like in the community, you're always shit talking your mates, like, oh yeah, how many Black Ices you got?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I've got that one. Oh, you don't have that one. Like all this shit. Like for me, I've got 12,000 hours, and I've yet to get it on my main character. Like my main character that I played all through competitive and shit, I didn't have the Black Ice skin for, but all my mates were like, come on, as if you don't have it yet and shit like that. But yet I got ones for characters that I don't want and shit like that. It's just like, yeah, that I find cool. And then there is obviously the store, and then there's the way you can buy like battle passes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I like that kind of stuff where you've got to actually earn the skins, and it makes it somewhat.
I feel like Apex gets it right, because you can just grind and get packs every couple of levels, and you can, you know, whatever. You get some stuff, but I also feel like they're very stingy with their packs as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where maybe you get better odds if you pay a little bit extra, But we don't say that. It is that. From a perspective of who gets it right from both angles. So from as a consumer who gets shit that they would like, and from a company that earns a shitload of money, I feel like Fortnite's the only one that got it right first try, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure Overwatch did the same thing.
Yeah, was it Overwatch?
With what?
Yeah, to a degree, but it's the same sort of thing though. They added so many. I mean, Fortnite's in the same boat now, where they just add so much stuff, and then like it's constant. You can't complete your collection, sort of thing. But Overwatch is weird though, because the thing with Overwatch is it's paid. You pay for it up front. It's a full price game, and then you can grind out packs, and then you can buy packs as well. And they have like seasons and whatever. Where Fortnite was a completely free game. You can just continually grind it and get heaps of stuff. But if you pay a small amount of money, it wasn't a lot of money, you can get a battle pass, which will come with a legendary whatever guaranteed at the end of it, providing that you put your entire week of gaming into it. It worked well. And then people, there were certain skins that were very rare that you wouldn't see them in the shop ever again, or every time they come around, people will talk about it and you'd spend your coins and stuff like that. Like I feel like that's the simplest way to do it. Was the way that the Fortnite did it. Was just no confusion. Where Apex, like I said, it's pretty much the same. When
Valorant does a pretty good job with their skins. Both their actual skins, they're probably some of the nicest skins I've seen in the game. Plus, also like the rate at which they release them, and also their store feature, which is like you only have like 4. That you either have the promoted bundle or the 4 skins that are random each day, and you get a reroll. And like certain skins are like revered as like, my god, you've got this skin, like that kind of shit.
Valorant is like the most. It's like all these people sat in a room and they said, "Hey, all these cool things that people are doing, this is popular and this is popular. Why don't we just put them all together?" It's like the most manufactured to a targeted audience game that I've ever seen. And one of the things they do is what you talked about, which is that they have a shop that is random that changes daily, right? So what ends up happening is you log in and go to a shop every day to see what you're going to spend your money on. They literally have you checking every day what you want to spend your money on. It's fucking genius.
But you know what else they do? Well, I don't think Frog mentioned it yet, but towards the end of the season, they also do a night market, which means there's a few skins that go on sale.
It's fucking
up to
genius.
33 through 60% off, which is actually really good.
It's genius is what it is, because that's a game that you don't have to spend money on, yet you find yourself like, oh man, I want to collect all these things and I'm going to be on it this time. I'm going to check daily to get this stuff. I mean, the ultimate goal for these these games as a service thing is to make you log in daily, because they're like, once you've logged in, you're going to play. It's not like you're going to log in, check it, whatever, and then leave. You're going to play. And then once you start playing, you're going to want to make your experience better. So you want to look cool and buy a skin and buy a doovie or whatever. It's brilliant.
A what?
A doovie. Doovalaka. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the hell the little thing that dangles off your gun that people get so excited about in Siege?
Oh, charms.
Charms. Yeah.
Just
Cool.
I forget
like
what. So hang on. There was another game that I was playing that was like by the same it's Division. I was playing the Division and I was streaming Division 2, and the amount of people came in like, "Can you add me as a friend?" And I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "I need this charm for Rainbow Six. I have to play Division for 2 hours and I need to finish this level." I'm like, "No, fuck off." I just had so many people just come in and say, "I just need this charm, bro." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck off. I'm playing fucking Division."
Just leave me be.
Sleep me alone. Speaking of Division, they got a free-to-play version coming soon. New game. Pretty poggers. They're going to announce that their next game is going to be a free-to-play games as a service.
I wouldn't mind that.
I'd play it.
Can't say no.
Yeah. I mean, I paid fuck all for the Division 2 when I got it. And that game's solid, but it's just when you get to the end of it, it's like, "Hey, do you like grinding gear?" It's like, "Not really." It's like, "Well, why would I grind the gear?" They're like, "No reason." I'm like, "All right, then I'm not going to do it. Bye." It's always the end game problem. It's like, okay, I get to the end. They're like, "Hey, do you like grinding gear?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do I get?" I'm like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Then no, I'm not going to do that. Bye."
Yeah, that reminds me of a game that, feels really Avenger-like. You know what I'm saying?
It's exactly Avengers. That's a great example. You get to the end. They're like, "Hey, do you like grinding gear?" Like, "Not really. What do I get if I do it?" They're like, "Nothing."
Just get a slightly stronger power level. That's about it.
Yeah, but what do you do with it?
Nothing. Literally nothing. So basically, no, sorry, my bad. No, you do something with it. So what you do is you get to that power level, right? Just to grind for a different tier of that same power level. It's like,
See,
why?
I like this shit interests me because like I wanted to get into like coding and animation and game development stuff all my life, and so I've always read about it and studied it and stuff like that. And then even at a point where at like peak GTA RP like deving, we were talking about escalations, dailies, and like weeklies sort of thing, right? So the whole thing is that if you log on and do something one night, it leads to you being able to do the next thing the next night, which leads you to the next thing. So that's where like we started making it so you need certain items to do certain robberies, you need to do certain robberies to lead to certain other robberies, and so on and so forth. Is the whole thing is to like keep you coming back essentially. And then that once you start to see what people do and what the tricks are, and then you go and you see like games and you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there. But then Avengers is the perfect example where you just go, oh, I see where you're going. What did you finish it? Like, what's next? What are we doing? Like, give us something. But anyway, it's enough talking about skins and ridiculous amount of hours spent on games.
Do you want me to hard U-turn to a depressing factual analogy?
Hang on, is this like last week, or is this like how hard is the U-turn? Because I think the last time we spun out and ended up in the gutter.
See, instead of feeling disgusted, you're just gonna feel really depressed.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're already depressed, 2 wrongs make a right? No?
No, just no. There's that awkward silence for a second there. Just no.
What do you want to talk about, Frog?
I had this topic in my head since I saw it on Monday, and I've been wanting to fucking rant.
Okay.
And it is an anger-inducing. Okay, basically, I'm in a Discord where I saw some people fucking talking about. I'm pretty sure one of them works at a fucking coal power plant, and they're just all talking about
our Lord and Savior coal.
Our Lord and Savior, renewable energies, and like how the wind will never blow at all times, and the only way forwards is a linking step, which is nuclear.
You ever see that trend on TikTok where people are like, tell me what's a cult without telling me it's a cult, and then someone just like, this is a cult, what you're talking about.
Yeah, people are so indoctrinated into thinking that renewable energies are shit.
Yeah, coal all the way, baby. Woo!
Coal all the way,
That's
bro.
how we power our flat Earth.
No, just no.
The reason that steam comes out of the coal-powered things is to hold up the dome that is above our heads. So basically, just like fills the dome and basically stops it from collapsing on us. It's a real story. Anyway, fucking people are just like all talking about it so I don't really know a lot of the people in this Discord. I'm in there because of a friend, and they're all talking about renewables and like how they're shit. The wind will Australia is not good for it. The wind, there's places where the wind will never blow, the sun will never shine, and you can't guarantee it being consistent, and that the only way forward is nuclear fucking energy. And I am pissed off because like literally for like the last couple of weeks I've been listening to a podcast where the sole topic has been nuclear energy, plus also like reading a lot of reports on this shit, because that's just I may come off like this horny fucking loser that just plays Valorant all the time, but
because you are, but also
yeah, I am. On top of that, I also
have
like
layers.
to indulge. I'm a fucking onion, bro. I've got layers, and I enjoy science and I enjoy learning about reality and like the world, right? Because everyone needs to fucking educate themselves, and you're not going to do it becoming one of the cultists, right?
Right.
The fucking anti-renewables cultists.
Yeah.
Now, everyone, strap yourselves in, kids. We're going for a fucking nerdy ride.
I'm learning.
Welcome to the Magic School Bus.
I'm in danger.
So I was like, they're all just. I wanted to butt in and be like that fucking that wannabe armchair scientist from fucking dropping fact bombs, but like people when they're stuck in that way, there's no point trying to like fucking. It's just like arguing with someone on Facebook. You're not changing their mind. They're stuck in their own fucking ways, right? So the main points that they kept bringing up in this conversation was like, yeah, nuclear's mad, nuclear's mad, nuclear's mad. It's like if we were to go to renewables, we'd at least need some nuclear power to back it up because, you know, when the renewables fail, Australia is one of the, we have enough space and enough, like if we invested just a slight amount, we have enough space and like available area to power Australia like 500 to 600 times over, based on a couple. Like if we just invested a little bit, right, it would power it by a fuck ton, right? And like the big issue that everyone comes back to is like battery technology and shit. We can't store it. What are we gonna do? Basically, if every state invests... Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Yeah. But if every state as well invested in it and every state came up with it, we would like, you know, my girlfriend's dad, he works for the power grid. He used to work for like a power company, like one of the big ones. He used to run power and gas from Melbourne all the way up the coast to like Sydney and above, right? It showed like... Power is not isolated to states, right? We can, if one fucking state is struggling with power and one other state has an excess of power, you move it across. You keep the happy medium and then you keep building renewables. It's a very common, simplistic concept, but everyone's always like, nah, the wind will never blow every fucking day. And it's just like, yeah, it may not be blowing where you are, mate, but on the other side of the country, there's going to be a wind turbine turning. Like that can fucking power your shit. It's funny. It's like because like,
I know we talked about like how I grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like it's desert where I grew up. It's fucking hot. Like I'm talking weeks where it won't drop below 40 degrees, sort of things. Like it's fucking hot.
Yeah,
and sunny. And it's like growing up. Even like I haven't been there. I've been in Melbourne. Fucking shit. I don't know. 10 plus years now. Easily. No, nearly 15 years. Right. So even when I was growing up there, I'm just like, why don't people have solar panels? Like, it doesn't make sense. And then I remember, like, at one point, the government's like, hey, you know, we're gonna do solar panels. We're gonna do a solar panel farm up in the fucking north. This like, I don't want to get super political, so I'm gonna just keep this very high level, as we say in the business. You know, they then scrapped that idea. For whatever reason. I think it was like the opposition went into power, whatever. And then their decision was to put a nuclear waste thing up in the desert instead. That went down super well. Everyone loved that. Then some idiot who came out is like, I'm going to not do that. So they invited that guy in. And they argued about that forever. And then the other guy came back and he's like, hey, man, we should do a solar farm thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, we should. That'd be a good idea. There's a lot of sun here. It's like, hey, fucking oath. Fast forward 10 years. They finally opened up Australia's largest solar battery farm up there.
Yep.
Took them fucking 20 years of discussing it.
Do you know what South Australia did? They basically were just like, yep, we got a goal to like hit fully renewable energy by like, I think it was 2030, right?
Yeah.
They started investing in it. It took them like they 2 or 3 years, whatever. They realized how good it was, right? See, the thing is, renewables are so cheap right now to make and produce and manufacture, and the battery technology is always getting better, that power companies are going, hang on a second.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheaper to go via like build a solar battery that is privatized to ourselves.
Yep.
Right? We can just make a fucking solar factory and we'll get like heaps of return on it. Plus it's cheaper than making a coal plant. So they're like, hang on a sec, like let's just do that ourselves. Fuck the government, fuck any investments. We can just do it ourselves, and then we won't have to get like pay any sort of loans back, pay anything back, right? And so that's what they're doing, right? So we're like, as a country, we're missing out on a lot by not. Okay. I'm gonna stop getting political and go back to my original point.
The problem is with this entire argument that you're bringing up, right? It is unfortunately it is an argument because common sense doesn't prevail.
No, it does never.
The thing is, the problem is the politics.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because when you go up to someone, it's like, hey, we destroy the earth, dig this black shit out, burn it, make a heap of smoke to pump out things, or we stick this thing out in the sun. Which do you want to do? They go, obviously the coal, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
But,
no.
like, But the thing that pisses the reason I'm so angry is that conversation about like, hang on a sec, let's not do coal, let's do nuclear, right?
Sure.
Nuclear is being like coined the secret coal industry. The reason being is a lot of these coal fucking plants and shit are just like, hang on a sec, like they've got investments in nuclear because of the fact that we can view it as we can like sell this as like a greener alternative. Guess how much it actually cuts down on actual emissions compared to like the actual factory, like the factory itself, like it doesn't produce anything, right? There's no greenhouse gas emitted.
No, but
right?
the actual
I'm pretty
getting
sure.
the resources and the disposing of the waste.
Harvesting and disposal. It actually produces 0.3% less emissions than a coal plant. We would have to be building factories. I think it's like we would have to be building one every hour for like 40 years or some shit to be able to replace everything and then swap it over. It's fucked.
But okay, so the thing is, right, and I think a lot of this stems from, and we talked about this, I don't know if it was last week's podcast, maybe the one before, I think it was the one with Meech on. We were talking about the fact that it's the old school boomers who are making the decision. And it's the old school boomers who are still in the mindset of 10 years ago. They're like, oh, it costs more energy to make a solar panel than it'll ever produce. It's like, that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? So then the old way was, hey, you either do it coal, you do like hydroelectric, or you do fucking nuclear. That were your only options. And that's how they still think today, even though that, you know, fucking some dude who believes in Dogecoin invented a battery that can fucking produce it and sell it to the masses, you know, at a reasonable price. So it's like we're literally waiting for them to die so that the next generation can come along and say, hey, this shit, we can do this now, you know, we're cool.
We can do
Because,
better.
like,
but then their kids as well. Their kids have like inherited all this, and it's like, actually, we want to keep the money.
Yeah,
and
and like
keep
I said,
the
then there's
funds.
the political shit that goes with it. But like I said, it's like, and South Australia, and like it's a no brainer for South Australia, because like South Australia is the coastline, and then it's fucking dirt and desert. There's nothing up there. With the exception of like the hills and the wine.
I never finished that point too. They South Australia, they were just like, hang on a sec, this is actually sick. After like 2 years, they then ramped it up, and they then like had like, I think it was like 50% after like 4 years, and then it was like, hang on a sec, this is actually really sick. And now they're on track to be by like 2022, like 8 years. They beat their target in like 2019 or some shit of what they were supposed to be at. And then now they're going for like 100%, and they're supposed to be hitting 100% like 2022 or 2023 or some shit, where they will become an exporter of power. Yeah. Like, it's fucking insane. Yeah. Like, people, once they see the benefits of it, is like, holy shit.
Well, not only that, I know that, and like, I know I've talked to people about this before, but like South Australia went through this whole thing, and it's still kind of in it, where they want to be market leaders in like renewable energies, technologies, internet infrastructure. Like they want to be the Australia's, you know, Silicon Valley, basically.
Yeah.
We know, and like I know Boydo knows, it's not really the case because as an ex-South Australian, it like they try, but at the same time, it's still Adelaide. Which is like,
it's still a retirement village.
Yeah, it's like Australia's biggest retirement village. It sucks though, because it is a beautiful town. It's just the people, and it's hard because they're trying to attract people, but we all know that what's it like, the Gold Coast, basically up that area is sort of where most of the, you know, that is the Silicon Valley essentially. Most web companies and stuff like that are all up there. I know that, like, at the moment, like the film industry is going nuts up there, even though Adelaide just did get a win by filming Mortal Kombat. Marvel's got like a 4-year plan. Well, not Marvel, but like Disney have a 4-year plan of movies to be made up in Queensland. It's kind of insane how much fucking things they're putting out. I think what are they doing? They're doing Thor. They just finished Thor, I think. up there, and then I think they got a Pirates of the Caribbean. They're going to be filming up there soon. Something else, fucking nuts. The only other places like Sydney, like northern Sydney, is where all the headquarters and stuff are. And actually, it reminds me of a story.
Sorry, I missed that last 2 seconds because someone was at my door. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just talking about how like the Queensland's really the Silicon Valley, and people are never going to go to Adelaide.
No.
But what I was going to say is that I remember this is a story about I had to go to Sydney, and why Sydney probably don't want me back there ever again.
Oh God.
It's probably this is going to tie into two things. So let's get into it. First of all, the reason I was thinking about it is because where I was staying, I had to stay. I was meant to go to Randwick, which is like south of Sydney. It's sort of thing. And then at the last second, they changed it and said, no, you got to go to North Sydney. It was for an operation for my partner at the time. I'm like, okay. And I was looking for like hotels and stuff. Couldn't find anything. So I'm like, all right. There was a flashy Airbnb in this huge tower, like this huge apartment tower. And it was overlooking Sony headquarters. I'm like, Pog, that's where the PlayStation lives, you know? And we had to stay there for 2 weeks. Very, very fancy apartment building. It was a shit time because my partner was sick, obviously. And two things happened. First thing happened is I'm like, okay, I'm going to go find us food. I'll go for a walk. I'll find a supermarket. I'll get what I can and bring back. Totally innocent, right? How could you go wrong? How could you fuck up going for a walk and getting food, all right? So I fucked it up. I went to the supermarket. I was walking around the supermarket. Wasn't really paying attention. Grabbed a few things, whatever. And I went and lined up behind this old lady who, she paid for her food and stuff like that, and paid for mine. I walk out the front. I turn around the corner, and I was walking still behind this old lady. And then she turned right, and I had to turn right because I was heading home. And then I kept following her, and then she made another right, and then I had to make another right. And then she went into her building, which happened to be my building. And then she got in the elevator, and I got in the elevator, and then she got off of my floor, and then I went to get, and then she turned around and threatened to pepper spray me because she was pretty convinced I was following her home, which I was, but it wasn't because I was living there, not because I was trying to rob her. But
Did you just produce your keys and just walk in?
I just left.
Look.
I left the building. I went, sorry, and just got in the elevator and went out. Because I was just following this woman home all the way from this. It was totally by accident. But yeah, it did look bad. Like, really bad.
Just imagine the news, just on TV.
Imagine if she stabbed me or pepper sprayed me or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened while I was there, it was like pissing rain or something like that. And I'm like, I'm just going to order food. I'm going to order from Menu Log and get some food.
Menu Log.
Yeah. So anyway, I ordered some fish and chips. I'm pretty sure it's fish and chips. Anyway, I couldn't figure out how the intercom systems works with the 7 elevators and the 12 entrances, and this fucking building was smarter than I am. So I'm like, easy. I'm just going to watch on the little screen as it says that it's nearly delivered, and I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get my food. So I watch on the screen. I see that they're 1 minute away. He's on a push bike or whatever. I'm like, sweet, go downstairs. Managed to get down to the lobby, and he's standing at the front door, and I wave him. It's me, it's mine. And he's like, don't bother buzzing because fuck off, I know how to let you in. And then got the food, went upstairs, and it's just not even my order. It's it's a burger and chips and fucking whatever. I'm like, what am I meant to fucking do? I'm so fucking hungry. I just wanted my fish and chips. So then I ring Menu Log. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, I don't know what happened. The guy was there. I took the food. And then as I'm on the phone, the door buzzes, and it's my delivery driver with my food. So I go downstairs, and he's there, and I get my fish and chips. Turns out I just took some random guy's order that was standing at the front door. It wasn't even mine. Just took some guy's burger. And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is totally addressed to a different person.
I had a similar thing happen to me in Canada, where it's just because you could, the hotel I was staying at, you ordered it to your room, and so you had to actually put down your room. I heard someone outside the door, and this was the same hotel where a lot of Pro Siege players were staying at, and so like
Pro Siege players.
what they were, like it legitimate was it was like one of like 2 hotels that they could have been staying at, and or like in that was close enough. But yeah, anyway, they so naturally like everyone was fucking there was delivery drivers every fucking 2 minutes walking by. Everyone's fucking ordering like Maccas and shit to the room because they're in the fucking little rooms with their gaming laptops fucking practicing and shit. And like the first 2 days like I got really sick flying over there, so the first 2 days like I was like in bed because I like had like a mad head cold. Probably was corona because it was honestly the start of the COVID, like literally the start of last year, right as things are popping off. But anyway, we'll ignore that. I'm probably a super spreader, but we'll go on past that. Fucking there's like delivery drivers coming in and out, and so I'm in bed. I was like, fuck, I can't be bothered going and exploring. I'm just gonna get some food. It was like early in the morning. This guy walks in. I just ordered Macca's or something. This guy walks in, and I was like, yeah, that's mine. I'm still slightly like sleep deprived, and it was like poutine, but it had like weird shit in it. Like I don't even know what it was. It was like poutine with weird shit, like 2 chicken burgers that were like so good, and like just like every single fucking variant of a sundae in this bag. And I was like, yo, I'm taking this. So some fucking poor sod's got like a double quarter pounder, like a quarter pounder, and then like a chips and a drink. and like this is probably one of the teams that I fucking stole the order from and shit. Proceeded to like, yep, like it, I like it, taking it. It's mine now.
I gotta say, the burger that I had, that was a pretty fucking good burger. Like I remember it vividly. It definitely, I don't know if it's because it's a free burger that tastes better, or it was a good burger. But it was an interesting trip to say that. But feel sorry for the guy because now he'll be chasing that refund from Menulog, and we all know how that plays out. It's definitely smooth and easy.
Did somebody say? Menulog.
Fucking worst customer. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. The thing that annoys me, right? I'm not going to talk about the week that I spent trying to get my $20 back for McDonald's that they fucked up by taking 3 hours to deliver. But they offered me a $10 voucher for their horrific service. They're like, we can give you a $10 voucher, best we can do. And then they sent you a $7 voucher for doing nothing today. So apparently, if they put you through pain, they'll give you $3 extra. It's like, I don't know. How do they value their customers that way? Seriously. It's fucking shit.
That's Menulog.
That's fucking Menulog. Don't use Menulog, people. Just stop it. Don't encourage those.
Shout out to Menulog.
Meanwhile, Uber Eats delivered the wrong dumplings shortly before the podcast. And before you can even get up the elevator, they go, oh, my bad. Here's your money back.
You still get the dumplings?
Yeah, still got the dumpling.
Fuck yeah.
But it's like
What matters?
all I said to the Menulog is like, yeah, okay, clearly someone's fucked up. Just give me back my money so I can order some other food. And they're like, nah, you got to wait 5 days.
You're right.
Yeah, right. Fuck off then. I'll never use you. They actually said to me, so the only reason they gave me back my money is because I was complaining about them on Twitter. Apparently that's the only way to get anything done. And then they're like, well, we could give you back your $20 or, which might take a while because it's bank deposit, or we'll give you a $30 voucher. And I'm like, give me back my money. I'm never fucking spending a voucher with you even. That's no. Give me back my money. Like, fuck
Wait,
off.
question. So if you spend the $30 voucher and they mess up, does that mean you get your money back?
Bruh. What? Could you imagine? It's I like just rewind. It's me again.
Hello there.
Hello there.
It's like that guy in that SpongeBob episode where he orders the Krabby Patty and he's like, this is great. Except you forgot the pickles. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Oh, it's the thing I was dreading the most is I thought that maybe they're going to be like, all right, well, we'll give you back your money when you send us a photo of it. Like, it's 5 days ago. You want a fucking photo of it? And I've had people do that before. I remember I was McDonald's once because I went through it was Uber Eats. I went through a spree of like I was sick and I was home and I just wanted to eat McDonald's every day because I'm an adult and I have adult money, so I do that. And every fucking day something was wrong with it. Every fucking day. And by like the 5th day, Uber Eats is like, no, we need photos, man. You can't just keep complaining about this. I'm like, well, they kept fucking it up. And like, you have to send us photos. I'm like, I threw it in the bin though. And they're like, we don't care. You got to send photos. So I sent them a photo of my bin like with all the crap in it. I just took a picture in the bin. Like, there it is. And they're like, all right, here's your money back. I'm like, why? Why is this a thing that we have to do now? So is everyone scamming him? Is that what's going on? Although, yeah, there's a lot of that sort of. It wouldn't surprise me, particularly like Menulog stuff. The amount of like no shits given. Like, I'd be a Menulog driver and just eat all the food. I don't think anyone would care. No one would get their money back. It takes 5 days. Anyway, I'm just
Should I order right now something from Menulog and just like
No.
instantly say, "Hey, I didn't get my order."
Well, the thing is, like the first thing they like, one of the conversations I had with them was like, "Oh, how'd you know it was late?" I'm like, "Well, if you look at the chat log that you sent me from my chat with you, it starts with I haven't got my order, and then you could see the exact time moment when I say the order just showed up, and you could see that it's 3 hours after when I ordered it." And like, "Oh yeah, I see that, yeah." But fuck me, and I don't want to rant about this, all right? But just consistency was the basic thing, right? I just needed them to say, hey, we're working on it, it's been investigated, whatever. It was, hey, you got to wait 2 days. The next person's like, oh, you got to wait 3 days. And then the next person's like, no one's done anything about this. We're going to escalate it. And then the next person's like, oh, no one escalated this, but we'll escalate it today. And then I speak to someone an hour later and they're like, oh, you got an email yesterday. And I'm like, well, I didn't. And they're like, well, your email address is wrong. And I'm like, but you verified every time I talk to you and it's correct. And they're like, oh, weird. I'm like, yeah, weird, right? It's like, at least get your story straight. And I used to do it, and I had problem with Telstra once, where they took me off ADSL 2 and they put me on ADSL 1 just because they felt like it.
Classic Telstra.
And then when I'm like, I need to be put back on 2, and they're like, well, we needed that port for someone else. And I'm like, but I had that port, I was paying for it. They're like, you only need 1. I'm like, put me back on 2. They put me on a faulty port on 2. And then that's where the story started divulging. And now I had a conversation with them going on Twitter on one screen. I had a live chat on the other screen. I had them on my phone on the other screen. And I was literally having 3 conversations at once. And when one contradicted the other, I would copy and paste that chat and drop it into the other chat or tell them on the phone. And I had them all playing off against each other. It took me 71 days, though, to get them to put me back on my own port. And it was not even worth it. It was garbage. Like, it was just a fucking nightmare. Such a nightmare. But it was just, it's just customer service is bad. That's all it is. Like, just a bit of consistency or something. Please help me. But yeah, anyway, let's not talk about Menulog. I fucking hate. I'm never using Menulog again. I give you all permission to slap me in the balls if I use Menulog ever again. Just come up and just like smack me.
What do I order from Menulog right now?
Fucking nothing.
Sake.
Order the smallest thing from the furthest restaurant.
Frog, your trash can would have better service.
It's just
It really would.
Menulog's an absolute joke, in my opinion.
But I have a $7 voucher.
God damn it.
Can you order something for $7?
I'll copy the code. Yeah, I'll see what I can order for $7.
Oh man, it's yeah. Fuck Menulog. I'm happy I can use those things anyway. The only thing I can't get is like Hungry Jack's.
Hungry Jack's is great. I can
burgers
get
are
it through,
better at Hungry Jack's.
They really are. They really are.
Is it just, I don't know if it's like, actually, you know what? You know, when I was out in your direction, Frog, I went to a Hungry Jack's out there.
Out near my place.
Yeah, out in your direction, yeah.
Yeah, that road, the road.
It was. I think it was just off that road. I think it was.
Yeah, it's. Yeah,
yeah.
I know the exact.
All right, so you know the exact one.
About.
Is it just me, or is it kind of sad? Like
that one there.
Yeah.
That particular Hungry Jack's is depressing.
Right. Okay. Good. I was.
I never go there.
Because people always say the burgers are better, but a lot of Hungry Jacks, they're kind of sad.
That's the one where you drive through. Did you go through drive-through?
Yeah. Well, I didn't, but I know what you mean because it like goes right around the back.
You start up like it looks like you're driving to a KFC.
That's it.
And then
that's the one.
You drive,
that's exactly the one. Yeah.
I know exactly that. I drive past there every day and I think, hang on a sec, maybe I'll get myself a burger on my home. But then I end up just driving further on the road to Macca's to then do a U-turn and come back home.
Yeah. I reckon there's like 4 Hungry Jacks that I've been to, and out of all of them, 3 of them are sad. Like they just look like they need some TLC.
They're trying to maintain that sort of like.
But their burgers are good. Like they
Elvis sort of like.
No, it's not even. It's 90s.
Like
it's the fucking 90s. All right.
No, but inside that one, they've got like the fucking like the
you're
neons
right.
and all that shit. Like I'm talking particular that one.
Yeah,
right?
I'm saying that there's that one, and I've been to 2 others that are just like that one. And then I've been like, there's one in the city, for example, that is kind of sad, but at least it's like new, you know. where that one, and there's a couple other ones. It's like we went for this thing when we opened the store in 1996, and we kind of just stayed with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I remember going because I was in charge on New Year's.
For those who are listening at home, by the way, it's called Hungry Jack's in Australia because they can't call it Burger King because a little store in Adelaide had the rights to the word Burger King, and he just went fuck you when they tried to buy it from him. So Hungry Jack's is Burger King, just FYI.
So that same store, right? I have a story about that store. I was working on New Year's Day, right?
Yeah.
So New Year's Day, I was like, I need to get home, and I was tasked with bringing home some burgers so that we could have something to eat before we go out and start heavy drinking. And so I was like told, go to Hungry Jack's, get some burgers, we'll be fine, right? It was the most sad fucking experience walking in, and this rather large dude serving me is like, yeah, thanks. All right.
It is like
have a good New Year's. And then, but the thing was, it's like there was all these signs up saying like how like make sure you're thanking our staff or make sure you're thanking our staff for their time and effort. It is New Year's and they could be out having fun like you are and shit like that. And I was just like, I was driving through. I was like, bro,
what happened for them to make that sign? What happened? Someone come in and is like, fuck you, it's New Year's.
This story gets better, right? This story gets better, right? So that in its own was depressing as fuck, but it gets twice as sad. We have a night out. We had some friends over. We had some drinks, watched the fireworks, and that was about it. It was a pretty quiet New Year's. Not this year, last year.
Yep.
Like before COVID times.
Right.
We then I get sent out to buy nuggets and shit for fucking the group of people that was living here, and no one wanted to drive, so I was like, fuck it, I'll drive down there. Because everyone was like, no, just we'll order it from Menulog, and again, Menulog, I was having issues with Menulog never fucking delivering to my house.
Fantastic.
Like specifically Hungry Jack's. So I was like, no, we're not doing that, and this was like 2 years ago, right? And so, Menulog's got a deep-seated problem when that's been happening for 2 fucking years.
Yep.
But anyway, that's an old note.
Yep.
So I drive to this fucking place. I go into the drive-thru. It's the same fucking guy. And he's like, welcome back. How can I take your order? Because he recognized my car because it's a piece of shit. It's like, he's like, welcome back. Yes. All right, got your orders. And he was just so monotone about everything. And like, you could tell he'd been awake because like how people look sweaty when they've been awake for like 24 hours.
Yeah, he's probably working a double because no other prick wants to work. And that's why the signs are up there, because everyone's like, I ain't fucking working New Year's. Everyone's an asshole on New Year's. So what if we put some signs up saying that they have to thank you? Oh, okay, that's fine then. No worries. I'll work.
Yeah, that fixes everything.
I don't know.
It's so sad.
I like their food, but yeah, just their restaurants are so depressing. It's kind of, I just wish there was a good one. But I know it's like a bit of a TikTok trend that's going around at the moment with a whole, that started off with what are businesses that shouldn't be in business that are clearly a front for something else, and then someone's like Red Rooster, yeah. So everyone's like Red Rooster. They're always open, they're always around, blah blah blah. But never ever see anyone in there. Now, I for a long time lived near the only takeaway shop that was within kilometers of me was Red Rooster, and I'll never forget. There's 2 defining times that I've been to Red Rooster. Once was like, I think I went to a midnight screening at some new cinema. It was like when Village were doing VMAX for the first time. I think we saw Transformers or something. And it was like a midnight screening. So it was like 3:00 in the morning, whatever. Driving home, Red Rooster was open, pulled in. We're like, oh, can we get some this, and this? And they're like, we've got no chicken. And I'm like, oh.
How?
I'm like, why are you open? They're like, we have to be open.
It's in your fucking name. Like,
they
chicken
literally
is in your name.
No chicken, none whatsoever. I'm like, so what can we get? They're like, chips. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll have some chips then. And I'm like, I'll forgive them. It's 3 a.m. maybe, also, it's in your fucking name. You should have fucking chicken. You're right. Someone dropped the ball. Second time, and without going into super details, but big storm hit Melbourne, and my house collapsed. And that's a story for another podcast. But I took anything that I could salvage from my house, loaded it into the car, went to stay with a friend from high school who I knew was living in Melbourne, because I don't have a lot of friends who actually live in Melbourne. And I was starving. So we pulled into Red Rooster. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, it wasn't even 4 o'clock. It wasn't even that late. It was probably like midnight, because it's a whole... I'll talk to you about it in a second. But pulled in, and they said, we've got no chicken. It's a different store, different end of town. At midnight, they're like, we got no chicken. I'm like, okay, fuck me. What do you have? Like, we have fish. I'm like, all right, give me the fish then. And I remember the fish was the worst fucking fish that I ever tasted. But I was also like at rock bottom at that point, so I'd take any food. But it's fucking, it was, I don't even remember the date or anything. I remember the cyclone. It was Cyclone Yazi that came down the coast and just fucking dumped a heap of rain. And me, my mate, and my ex-housemate, the big Brazilian bloke that we talked about in the podcast before, we're going to go to watch an A-League match. I was a massive Melbourne Hearts supporter back then. Used to go all the time. And I remember we went to leave the house and it was pissing rain so much. We're like, fuck this. We're not going to catch public transport. We're just going to drive. Went back to the house, was getting changed because we already got drenched so much. And it was that point that the cat was freaking out because there was water spraying out of the power points. And that's at that point we realized that the roof was full of water. And it was only a matter of time. We're in an apartment building. We're on the top level. It was only a matter of time before the plasterboard gave way, and it did. It just collapsed and dumped fucking a couple feet of water into the apartment and destroyed everything. But our one friend that we're going to meet at the soccer match did go, because he got there before the downpour, but then the game was delayed until the rain passed, because it got so much rain that you couldn't even see the pitch. It was underwater. And it was sort of draining away, whatever. They still played that fucking game. And I remember eating this greasy piece of fish on my mate's couch, watching the soccer game I tried to go to 8 hours earlier that got delayed. But instead, I was just pissed off at Red Rooster and eating fucking fish on a couch. Oh, man, that was a horrible time. It was a fucking nightmare. I remember, and, you know, this fucking I remember we rang, I rang fucking whatever it is, the bloody emergency services. And they're like, yeah, we got a lot on. Good luck. That's pretty much what they said. Because it was insane that whole night. And I remember we rang the real estate agent and they just laughed at us and said, yeah, yours is a small problem. That's what they said. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I got nowhere to live, but cool. They're like, no, they go, if you think that's a problem, I've got X amount of tenants that are staying in this apartment building and the entire underground car park filled up with water and all the cars are floating around bumping into each other. I'm like, I mean, that's a problem, but I still have my problem. So then they came and looked at my apartment the next day, which had no roof. You can see straight out into the fucking sky. And they're like, wow, you can't live here anymore. And they gave us a notice to evict in 24 hours. See ya. And I remember the owner came in. They're like, oh my God, you guys wet our blinds. I'm like, we haven't fucking roofs gone, you dumb bitch. Anyway, it's great. I love it. It was the best time ever. It actually reminds me that because the problem I had with that whole situation was we needed to find a house ASAP. And all the real estate agents were like, we can't help you. We're busy dealing with our current tenants that have got issues. And they send us the work experience kid to show us through this house, which is the house that's right next to Red Rooster, by the way. I mean, Red Rooster. Sorry.
Red Rooster?
Red Rooster. That's what I call it.
Different store.
Nah, same store. But I remember this kid showed us through this house. It was like a flat. And you go out the back, had a tiny little deck there, and then it had like a laundry, and then it had another room next to it that was sealed shut. Someone had nailed the door shut in it. And I said to the kid, I said, what's in there? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, who does? He's like, well, I don't know. It's not listed. And I'm like, well, I need a house, so I'm going to take it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And they gave us this house. And first thing I did was fucking pull down that door, and it was an entire bathroom. Like a second bathroom that had just been nailed up in the back of this house. So I'm like,
I have
so good.
I have some creepy stories with rentals and like finding like rooms and little things.
Yeah, it's a thing. It happens.
So my girlfriend's old house, right? So it was like a farm, but it was like a rental. It was a fucking amazing house, right? So there was they reckon that I know who lived in the house beforehand because it was a girl that I used to actually work with. We found this like uncanny sort of like connection that, hang on a second, you used to live in the house where my girlfriend lived, because there's a whole ghost story element to this story, but I'll tell that on another
Another
pod.
podcast.
'cause
Okay,
I know
that's fair.
I'll save that ghost story. But basically, we reckon. So there was like a weird sort of like coincidence where I found out from a girl I used to work with that she used to also live in this house because it was just stories matched up, and we were like, hang on a second, was it on this address? And they're like, yeah, it was actually. What the fuck? And so I know who lived in the house before my girlfriend and her mum, and it was this other girl, and they didn't do this, so it'd been there for a while, but they were 100% certain that the people that own that farm were some sort of like drug runners or like something, right?
Something, yeah.
So on the doorway, and they never found where the alarm actually was, like the sensor actually was. But it was a pretty big driveway, not massive, but both myself and my girlfriend had gone up and down that driveway trying to find where the sensor was. But every time a car would drive up there, there'd be like this blaring alarm, and it'd be like, that's like all around the house, and you could hear it everywhere. It was like
The fuck?
it was like as if like it was stopping someone from like coming in, like, oh, quick, hide the drugs sort of thing. Like there's a raid, like hide the important shit. That was kind of the vibe that you get. But like you could always tell it was handy to know when my girlfriend's mum was coming home.
No.
But yeah, it was had to put some of that classic frog charm
Oh
on the
god, stop.
story. Anyway,
Oh.
so basically what would happen was on top of that, in my girlfriend's room, there was a wardrobe, and inside the bottom of that wardrobe there was a drop down like chute where she had found a lockbox which
no.
contained like nothing. There was nothing in the lockbox, but the fact that it was there was just like, bruh.
You found
Like,
Jason Bourne's apartment.
Yeah, like it was just like a lockbox.
What do they call it? A bug out
And
kit. It's got the bug out
yeah.
kit.
Oh my god, it's Jason Bourne. And, like, it was just such a weird fucking the amount of weird shit that went on in that house, like in terms of just things that you'd find, like a lockbox in the fucking safe underneath the floorboards, like what? And then like a weird drug lab fucking siren, like. There's a lot of like,
That is, yeah.
It pales in comparison to a whole fucking bathroom.
Well, it's like there was a guy on TikTok who's like, people are like, show us the weirdest thing you found in your house, and the guy's like, oh, I got a bomb shelter under mine, and it's like they never even knew it was a thing. They just found a panel, opened it, went down, and it was a complete bomb shelter underneath his house, and it's like got food and shit and everything.
Surely that's a win. Like,
Oh, fucking oath it is. It's funny.
you turn that into a gaming studio, bro. If you had a bomb shelter under your house, you would not pimp it out and have it as like a streamer den. Like you wire up your internet to go down there, and you just fucking you have all the shit
I mean, at
set
that
up.
point, you might as well just go down there and shut the lid. You know,
Yeah, just lock me in, boys. Just that's it. I'm
just
done.
pay someone $10 to cover it back over, and then just tell them that you left the house and don't have to pay rent.
Just lock me in there.
If you've
Mass Effect remastered.
If you've got like
Just give me some alone time with Liara. All right, I'm going.
if you got like 12 months worth of rations, you'll be fine, right? You just stay down there and just eat rations the whole time. 72-hour, 10-hour, 10-week stream.
Hey. That brings me to a. Did you know about the midnight clock?
Oh god, we are running out of time. But yes, go on. Go on. What is the midnight clock with an L?
Clock
What?
with an L.
What is it?
It was just like in terms of like nuclear bunkers and shit.
Oh,
like
God.
this came up in my nuclear research.
How did we get
And-
back here?
Damn it.
Bunkers. Since there was a group of scientists that like formed a
The doomsday clock is what you're
the
talking
doomsday clock. Yeah, it's the doomsday clock. Did you know? Fun fact: it jumped from like 2 minutes to midnight when before Trump was in
about.
power.
I knew you were going to say that.
Trump came into power and it jumped to 100 seconds.
Yeah,
Like-
but I feel like that's because he sat down at the desk and he saw the red button. He's like, oh, I'll do it. Don't know his balls me, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll save it for another pod. But there has been so many times where this fucking planet has been like
Very close.
milliseconds, like close to fucking everyone's up in arms, blowing shit up. And can we all stop doting on America? They are one of 2 fucking countries that refused to sign the agreement of I will not fire unless fired upon in terms of nuclear armaments. Them and Pakistan are the two countries that have nuclear warheads but will refuse to
Sign
like
the-
basically saying, no, we're not signing it because, you know, sometimes like when a war happens, we're going to fucking blow people up. We just want to blow shit up, bro. Like they want to instigate, and it's just like, come on. Everyone just, America, chill.
Just chill. It's a
Daddy, chill.
Yeah, it's definitely something we could talk about more. But it kind of leads me into something. I've been watching a lot of Amazon Prime TV because it just seems it's just convenient for me lately. And there's actually a lot of good stuff on there. But there's one thing that I watched, and I wanted to bring this up earlier because you mentioned something about being a super spreader. Has anyone seen the new Borat movie?
Both in the sheets and in terms of COVID.
Borat.
Yeah.
It's they're very brave to do that movie.
I haven't seen it. Is it any good?
It's funny, but it's also face palmy. Like it's cringy. Like I'm gonna spoil it because I'm gonna spoil it. All right. But the whole premise behind the whole thing is that he has to go. Very high level, right? He's taking his pornographic monkey to go give to, I think it's like Vice President Pence or something like that, as a gift, something to do with how the last movie was received. And then his daughter accidentally eats the monkey, or on purpose. Sort of, they don't really address it much. So then he's going to give his daughter to her instead. And then when he goes to the Pence at some rally with his daughter dressed up as Trump, trying to give it to Pence, and Pence refuses it. But obviously the guards just throw him out, whatever. Then he goes on this whole thing about how, like, she goes on about how she shouldn't be just treated as an object to be given away, blah, blah, blah. And then they go to try and give it to the lawyer, you know, Trump's lawyer that everyone's, you know, he's a very dodgy motherfucker, whatever.
The guy that looks like a shit version of the trash man.
Yeah, pretty much. So then that thing, and it's very questionable how that whole thing plays out, but basically, you know, Borat's daughter becomes a reporter and then goes and interviews him in a hotel room, and then they go back to the bedroom for a few drinks, and then Borat comes running in a fucking skimmed bikini saying that his back anus is a virgin or something. So it's a fucking wild role. Anyway, the thing all that's very brave, but that's all very standard, right? The twist to the whole fucking show, the whole movie, is when they get to the end, because the whole thing is that he has to make good with the Americas. Otherwise, if he goes back to Kazakhstan, they're going to kill him. He goes back to Kazakhstan, failed because he just chose to let his daughter live her own life rather than give her as an object to the American government. And then Kazakhstan's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's cool, don't worry about it. And part of the whole show is like, it's just as COVID's hitting America. There's actually one line in there where at the rally, they're like, there's only been one new case in America in 2 weeks. We're ready for it. It's like, yikes. It's a big yikes. Because, yes. Anyway, the whole twist of the movie is that it's Borat. They melted a bat and injected him with COVID and sent him around the world as a super spreader. He caused all of COVID. He even goes to Wuhan at one point. And then he goes to Australia and he's at the fucking Sydney Opera House shaking hands with Tom Hanks, giving him COVID. And then he goes to America. He goes to all these different people, gives them COVID. Apparently the whole thing is that, yeah, it was all Borat all along.
It was Borat all along. Yeah.
I'm just like, holy shit. I mean, clearly that wasn't in the script to begin with, but my God, did they take an opportunity to take a shot at something that is, yes, it's fucking wild. Like I like Sacha Baron Cohen, I love his shit, but sometimes it's just a bit
on the nose.
It's just a yikes, you know.
My greatest memory of Sacha Baron Cohen is when he's exiting the elephant's asshole in, was it Grimsby? Yeah, Grimsby.
Which is the fucking tie back to Ace Ventura.
Yeah, but like, have you seen?
Yeah, I've
seen Grimsby.
Yeah,
I bought that for my brother and sat around with my entire family.
See,
my mom and dad.
Oh my God,
Grimsby.
You watched it with your family?
It was fun. I had no idea what it was going to be like. I just knew my brother liked Sacha Baron Cohen, and then I watched everybody.
My best friend in high school was often mistaken for Ali G. To the point where we went to see the Ali G movie when it came out, and people legit thought it was him. They're like, "Oh my God, it's him!" Like he even wore the orange sunglasses, like not ironically, you know, just daily. and looked
Oh.
just like and acted like him in some ways as well. But yeah, fucking, I love his early shit and whatever. It's a very funny bloke. He's just a funny bloke, but he knows what he's doing. He's making it a discussion. Like, it's not because like they throughout the show they literally were asking people like, who did this virus, and like there's some questionable stuff that even I won't say on the podcast, and like it's general opinion to some of these people that they just talk to in the street in America. So it's a big yikes. But anyway, it's big yikes. But if you do have Amazon and watch Amazon TV or whatever it is, Prime TV, the other show that I have watched and did watch after hearing about it from a few people, like, hey, it kind of looks weird, but give it a go because it's quite a great show. And I finished Invincible, and
Highly recommend.
it's a fucking great show. Like, and like we won't spoil plot stuff like that, but it is, if anything, it's like The Boys, if you've watched that, which is another great Amazon show. It's a lot like that, but it's also it's based on a DC comic. It's animated in a DC sort of animation style kind of show, but it's also like it keeps within that same style, but it also does some pretty impressive kind of fucking animation, which I don't know. It's from the outside looking in, you're gonna look at it and go, oh, it's just another cartoon. It's definitely not a cartoon. I probably wouldn't let kids watch it at all. And yeah, it's like they do a lot of things that are like stylistic sort of style of like editing and stuff like that. They do a cool thing with like their title cards and stuff like that, where they deliberately know that this isn't normal, and it's like they lean towards the not normal way of doing things. And one of the things that they do in the show, which is a bit shocking to begin with, is that, how if you watch, let's say you watch Batman, like the cartoon, right? He'll go in to like punch someone, or it's like if let's say like Killer Croc's gonna eat someone or whatever, camera pans and you see a shadow or you see a bit of blood splash against the wall, something like that, right? This will fucking zoom in, and you just get to see all the innards get ripped out of someone on a constant basis. Like they refuse to look away. And there was one scene in particular that fucking just got it for me, is that there's a scene where, let's call Mr. Bad Guy and Mr. Good Guy are fighting in a train station. And Mr. Bad Guy picks up Mr. Good Guy, who's, a superhero as well, like a super strong. And a train hits him. And normally that, you see the train, you see a thump or whatever. No. You see the train rip apart, and then you see all the people inside the train also go smush and get ripped apart as the train rips through these people. And I'm like, holy shit.
I wanted to actually go into a little bit of context of that without spoiling it, like without saying names and anything like that.
Yeah.
But basically, Bad Guy was making Good Guy feel bad while Bad Guy is using Good Guy as a weapon.
Yeah.
Basically. It was just brutal.
Stuff that they stuff that other shows would cut away. And The Boys does it as well. And that's why because Boys is like superpowered beings misbehaving, shit like that. And they do the same thing where you want them to cut away because it's uncomfortable, because it's not normal. Like your normal viewing experience is, oh no, they're about to explode this guy's head. It's going to cut away. No, they don't. They just... And like if you watch Corridor Crew, they talk about The Boys a lot in one of their episodes, because they talked about how they had to film things on the fly very quickly. So to do a lot of these, like crushing people's heads is a big plot point in the second season. So they made a shotgun that shoots blood, so they can just sort of prop the shotgun behind this body, like this mannequin. Then they just CGI the head off and then just shoot the shotgun of blood up into the air, because they use it so often, which is just amazing. But then that's The Boys, which is an adult show. This is a show that looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. They dropped the F-bomb in the final episode. I'm like, ooh, hello F-bomb. Welcome to PG land.
Hello, F-bomb.
But yeah, it's a fucking great show. Don't let the fact that it looks like a cartoon fool you. It's very, very clever. Their character design's amazing. The character development is like next level. The story and the way that it intertwines. Like we were talking earlier about Easter eggs and stuff like that. There's shit that happens in the first episode that will go to like tie all the way to the end. And they actually do this thing right at the very end of the first season where the characters are sort of like, guess that's everything. We're all sort of done here, blah, blah, blah. And then it does a montage of all the loose ends that they fucked up through the entire season, just to say, hey, man, you forgot about all these things, didn't you? And it's like, oh, yeah, shit, yeah, there's a lot to go. And then that's when they come out and they say, hey, yeah, a couple more seasons coming your way. But it's honestly, it's probably the most enjoyable, refreshing, like new sort of show that I've watched. particularly this year for sure. So
What's
that's
I was gonna say what's good about that is they have confirmed 2 more seasons.
yeah,
And for anybody who has read the comics,
yeah.
and who has
Manga.
watched the show at the same time, you'll know that it's not even far into the first comic book. It's
Yeah.
not that far in.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So it's
There's a lot of heavy
a
shit
lot.
that happens in the second half of the comic book that I just honestly can't wait for it to happen. I only know broad stuff. I've stopped reading about it because I like the show so much. I just want to watch it. But it's good to see. It's good to see good to see TV shows come out and not be generic. Like they're happy to take a bit of a risk and do it and get these platforms. And if anyone ever wonders what that means, if you watched an episode of I'm gonna pick on the CW, all right? If you ever watched an episode of like Arrow versus like an episode of Invincible, that is what I'm talking about. Where Arrow's like, this is the same plot plan that we used since the 90s. You know, we have a hook, we have first act, second act, third act, resolution. Done. It means nothing. Throw it into the grinder. Away you go. Where characters and like conversations and even little mentions of things throughout the entire show of Invincible all ties together to a greater reveal that is, you know, the last sort of episodes of the show. Fuck yeah, it's good. I just want more good shows like that. And then I ruined it by watching Borat straight after it. I face pumped so hard.
Unfortunate.
So I've been watching the fucking Crown, rewatching that.
Why?
Apparently the latest season's good.
Wait, watching what? Sorry.
The Crown.
Have you seen
What's
it?
that?
I've seen it. Like I've seen it, but I don't watch it.
I thought it was really, really weird. Just like why would I watch that just off the ads? But you watch it, and purely based off the fact that David Tennant is in it. Not David Tennant. Fuck. What's the
I was
other?
gonna say
Matt Smith. The other doctor. Fuck. The other doctor. He's in there, and he plays a character which I've never seen. Like, you know how he always plays like the generic good guy?
Yeah.
Like he's always like seems to be a good guy in every show he's in, right? He is a scumbag douche. The recently passed Prince Philip, but I'm just gonna ignore that.
Yikes!
But yeah, he in some of the episodes he's really good and like he's a fucking good father and shit. But most of them he's a shit father and a shit husband, and it's a really good show. I recommend it if you want to learn a bit about the monarchy and like a bit about monarch history. Like, big recommend. It's also I think Netflix's biggest budget they've ever spent on a series, because all of the shit that they've made in there is like almost pretty much replica of like a replica of the Buckingham Palace, like Sandringham and all the different palaces, and the fucking Queen has like so many fucking houses, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, all that shit is just, it's kind of cool. Like, I thought it was kind of cool.
I mean, it's big. It's big, but it's you know, I don't know.
It's not really everyone's cup of tea.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those people that just don't give a shit about the Royals whatsoever.
Oh, neither.
Neither.
I was the exact same, but then I watched the show and I was just like, I don't care about you, but this is an interesting show.
I'm interested in Royals like King George era, when people behead people and like that. I like that, but fucking modern Royals is like, yeah.
Dude, did you know that there was a guy, like just a local dude, like a local British Chad, that just fucking decided to like, he was fed up with his work and he was fed up of not getting the British equivalent of Centrelink. So he just broke into Buckingham Palace and like went through all the Queen's shit and then like broke back out. They didn't catch him. He then proceeds to come back like multiple days where he would just break in and like drink wine in like Buckingham Palace.
Right.
And then to the point where he eventually just like is sitting there in her bedroom and she wakes up and she's just like, goes to call the guards and he's just like, no, it's fine. Like,
it's fine.
Don't say anything. And then they have a conversation. It's wild.
The fuck?
Shit like that is what makes that show interesting. And it's like, none of the fucking like, oh my god, they're fucking, this person married this person and this person did that. Like, that shit's boring. But like the cool shit, like the Winston Churchill shit, like all that stuff. Yeah, that's my selling point.
Yeah. That's yeah. Look,
Yeah,
if it at all helps the argument over why you should be watching the Invincible and not The Crown. Did you say again? Did you say you're watching it again? Did you say have you seen The Crown and you're watching it again? So why you should be watching Invincible?
I'm rewatching it so that I can, because I had forgotten majority of what had happened in it, and I wanted to rewatch it so that I could watch the latest season.
If you don't want to disappoint everybody, you should be watching Invincible instead. My last selling point is Omni-Man, who is the strongest man in the universe, is very much the focal point of this entire season, is voiced by J.K. Simmons. It's fucking great. And it continues the trend of he only voices people with mustaches. So works well. It's a fucking great show. But anyway, we are running out of time. As much as we want to talk about the Queen and the royal family and the crown and
nuclear energy.
And nuclear energy, which yes, it's you know what? It's been a weird podcast. Boydo's first one. I know he didn't want to speak up, but he's probably neither a queen or a nuclear physicist. So
now's your time to get your shit talking out. Quick, plug it at the end.
Yeah, Boydo. Do you want to?
I can't shit talk for shit.
Oh, you don't want to talk about anyone in particular? Maybe some previous podcast guests?
I prefer my life as it is.
You like your
and I know that person will listen to it.
Oh, really?
Oh, saucy.
So
wait, they actually listen?
I reckon this one person will listen to this one.
You know, we're wrapping things up, so I won't tell all this story. But there was a person that I worked with who I fucking hated, and I was his boss. But I hated for so many reasons. We need to talk about it another one, right? But we needed to talk about how shit this human was, even when this human was near us, right? So we called him a toaster. So then every time we're like, that fucking toaster, I swear to God, it's so fucking stupid. And like, we'd just be talking in front of him and he'd just be nodding like, And I'm like, yeah, toasters are dumb. I hate toasters. And that's it. So, you know, you should really figure out like a code word so we can talk about it, you know? Sort of like a blink twice if you're in trouble.
I definitely need a code word.
Yeah.
Once we do the outros, I'll take us out on a quick little poll here.
Maybe like think of like a code word, maybe like a dessert or something, like a gelatin or something like that. Maybe, you know, some kind of code word. No? Okay, fine. That's fine. We should
like jelly. Jellied eel. That's what you're referring to. Yeah?
I should talk about this guy on another pod. I've fired 2 people on the spot in my life, and he was one of them. It's a great story. Anyway, we should wrap it up. This is the point where we do plug ourselves. Having said that, Boydo, I don't think you really stream, and you don't have Twitter, so...
Hell no, you cannot find me at all.
You cannot find Boydo. He's all ours, all right? Get your mitts off him.
You'll find him in a 1,000-hour fucking Factorio stream.
Yeah, if you're wondering where Boydo is, he's playing Factorio, okay?
Pretty much.
Man, I'm going to play some more Factorio soon.
You should. We should make a world together.
Yeah, we should. We should make a world, for 1,000-hour world together.
Would you get married in that world?
I mean, I'm keen.
I know it's a sensitive subject, but
no, I said
exactly
it's keen.
what I'm referring to.
Anyway, let's go trying to see where did people find you and your VR streams lately?
Twitch.tv/Chauncey. That's where I do Twitch currently.
Raising that money for the kids still.
Absolutely. It's been great so far.
And I'm going to plug myself, and we'll leave Frog to last. But if you are at all doing anything, check out Zombies LB Bacon pretty much everywhere. You'll probably miss it by the time you listen to this, but I am doing a cooking stream this weekend. If there's no podcast next weekend, that's because I either got cancelled or died. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of streams. But by all means, make sure you follow and subscribe and like and comment and let us know if you listen to the podcast, because we are going to keep doing them until Frog gets us cancelled. And speaking of Frog, your turn, Frog. Take us out. You
can find me at itsfrog__. It's very confusing, many underscores, just because one wasn't enough. At Twitch. And you find me at Twitter at like frog_R6, and multiple underscores across multiple different platforms. And I'm going to take us out with a little quick yay or nay. You don't have to elaborate on this. It's just a yay or a nay. I'm going to go around the circle and I'm gonna speak my mind. Horny Discord chat with the boys or quality time with a significant other? Aladi?
Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. Thanks for listening to the ZLB podcast.
I'm gonna say yay to the boys session.
I'm also leaning that way.
Yeah, it's a yay from me.
All right, we're gonna have to go with it. You know, we'll call it peer pressure.
There's going to be some definite pressuring.
All right, that's it. Goodbye, everybody.